Hi, I'm Patrick Ryan. I'm joined here today by Lee Bristow, the Chief Technology Officer for Phinity Risk Solutions. Lee, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Pat. It's really cool to be doing this with you today. Looking forward to our next 5 minutes and a quick chat.
In your opinion, what makes Phinity unique and competitive in the market?
So, the thing about Phinity is really about our approach that makes it unique and competitive at the same time, is because we have a very customer-centric approach to our clients. We often spend a lot of time thinking about their problems, talking with them, understanding and interpreting them within the platform, within the technology. Because very often we find that one client might have the same problem as another, because especially within industry. So within the insurance industry, they will have very similar problems. Within the banking industry. So really, if you spend a bit of time understanding what your client's challenges are, you can interpret them. And I think one of the main competitive capabilities of the platform is that we internalize that information and then create a solution that is effective for more than just one customer. And that creates a massive competitive edge for the platform. The other thing is that we've also taken a lot of our understanding of the processes that have been required to implement a compliance process, a risk process, and whatever the case may be, and kind of turned it on its head. And what I mean by that is that we've basically created a robotic process automation engine that doesn't require developers to come in and kind of understand your processes and kind of build it into a platform. We've actually created an interface that allows business people to actually configure their processes using the Phinity platform, which is massive, right? You've got this risk or compliance process you need to implement, or a standard that you need to implement. You can take your existing processes, digitize them, and implement them into your organization the way that you've been running it.
I suppose linked to that, given the resource constraints in the risk management space globally, to have some of that automation. And typically the stuff I would imagine that a system does is not the most exciting things that people could be doing. So you're kind of saving your people for addressing the risks by taking some of that sort of the procedural stuff out of it. So I think it probably solves two problems by creating that focus as well as creating capacity in organizations.
Yeah. As you said, it's not the most exciting part of their job, because essentially you've got very skilled, highly developed individuals that have spent years honing their craft, and now they're running a process. The reality is they should be thinking about how can they actually extrapolate their capabilities, kind of put their knowledge into the tool sets that are available to them, and turn that into just being able to do a tick box versus actually making real industry changes, or really addressing risk and compliance within an organization at scale.
Yeah, because it's a real global issue as the requirements around risk management increase. Yeah. The capacity definitely isn't in line. So having some of that automation, digitalization, obviously a theme for the last 2 years. Really glad to hear that Phinity is on that track.
Absolutely, I think one of the key elements is, not only just working with our clients, it's also working with our partners as well. So being a partner first type organization, that kind of sets us apart again, because, we work with consulting type partners that are implementing risk and compliance, and very often organizations have very little. So, firstly, you're trying to implement a process, and then you're implementing it with Excel and email. That's not particularly attractive. It's not like mind-blowingly, unique. So Phinity just adds a little bit of flavor to what they're leaving behind, but more importantly, they're actually enabling the client to take themselves further beyond that.
So a real people-orientated, in your customers and partners, people-orientated technology company.
Yep.
Okay. Then maybe ask you, not too much of a personal question, but more not about the company, but about you personally. In your role as CTO, what do you find most challenging? Given Phinity's a relatively new startup in a very competitive SaaS space, you know, personally, what do you find challenging in your role?
Change. Change is by far the biggest thing to kind of get your head around, because virtually no day is exactly the same. So firstly, you've got industry change, as in, you know, your competitive landscape is constantly changing. You know, that whole risk tech area is changing because of the technologies that are coming out, and people are realizing that technology can be a massive game changer. So, you know, you've got this competitive landscape element that is constantly changing. Phinity needs to keep abreast of this, as well as kind of lead it in terms of innovation. I think we've done a really good job up until now, but we've got to keep doing that. So the other thing on the change side is the actual compliance. You know, the things that we're trying to support our clients address are constantly changing as well. So the tool sets that we provide need to change and evolve as quickly as those pieces of legislation, risk compliance standards are all changing. And then, you know, in terms of clients as well, you know, they're changing and evolving all the time. So, you know, how are they maturing? At what point does the Phinity conversation make sense to them? And, you know, they themselves kind of are trying to grapple with these compliance things. How does that impact in my business? So you've got this sort of constant flux of change that is happening. And then finally, from an internal perspective, within Phinity, as the team has grown, you know, over the last 5 years, we've kind of expanded in terms of our clients and internally, and that change is constant. So, you know, it's new dev teams, new processes, new technologies, new platforms being launched, and new solutions. We went, you know, different focus in different areas, and all of that is changing kind of at a rapid rate. So you need to kind of make change look seamless. I think is probably the most challenging part of my day.
Yeah. So if you don't enjoy change, your role is not for the next person.
Yeah, exactly. It's
and I think
faint-hearted.
Something you touched on earlier is, you know, I've been in the risk space for many years, and you know, it's fascinating to see how the amount of new technology in the risk automation space. It's really been a part of corporates and corporate life that has been under automated, and just to see, you know, Phinity and others coming in and our clients embracing that and seeing the benefits of that is really heartwarming.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think finally clients are accepting that they can't just do a tick box exercise with, you know, a portion of their risk or a portion of a process. They actually have to do everything. And really, that is, I think, you know, the Phinity value ultimately, is that we're looking at that entire risk ecosystem from an operational level all the way up. Yeah.
Great. Good luck for the next 5 years.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.